What's happening?
You still in Prague? How,
Yeah,
how,
America Most Wanted.
how long you staying?
I'm leaving tomorrow. I was waiting for the podcast to go so I can not be
Oh,
trying and then try to. Since I leave tomorrow morning, 7 in the morning.
oh, okay. All right. Listen, it was a long weekend, huh? But
Crazy.
give us some insight, man. How was it?
It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome to see the whole thing unfold. From the week leading up to it, um, I got here early, so I wouldn't be all jet lagged. So got here pretty early. Let me get my thing on work mode. So when the guys came in for the check-ins, just being up there, just a couple seats down from Steve, seeing that whole scene, the guys coming up, checking in, shaking your hand, all that stuff. Uh, I mean, it was cool. It was just like from the start, it was just like obviously, Chris has all the following in the world, so all the energy is going towards Chris. It
But
was just like,
did you feel bad for some of the other guys?
yeah, I did. I did.
Because it's like you in there, you're on the same level, but all of a sudden people walk past you like you're not even there.
It was crazy, man.
Uh,
I don't know. I heard rumors, the one driver, I don't know, how people would just talk,
what do you mean?
but just heard rumors of like, I don't even know if it's true or not, so I probably shouldn't even say it, but
Well, if it's a rumor, it's a rumor, so it could be true, it could be bullshit. What was it
yeah,
though?
so they said that Chris took a photo inside of his Airbnb,
Yeah, I heard that.
and they all the internet police went and searched out all the Airbnbs that it could be, and then they went and was outside of his Airbnb,
They found him.
cheering for him and shit outside his Airbnb. And
Damn. Well, if it's true, it's. I think if it's true, it's fucking awesome.
the boy like the Beatles, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So crazy.
You know what? I predict Chris to end up in the movies.
It's easily. He'll definitely get some people to watch it, that's for sure.
I know. Not only that, I think it's just because movie characters they're looking for people with that kind of draw that just you don't even have to say much. You know what I'm saying? And people are already drawn to you. I think there's probably already some options on the table, but I think they're going to pursue him for certain roles, like they did Arnold. I mean, Arnold ended up doing Terminator stuff and Conan, his first movies. You know what I'm saying? When he wasn't even speaking.
Right.
You
I
know.
think and then, at the show, everyone was wanting to see how he was gonna look, stacking up next to Martin and the rest of them. And I was wondering how Presti was gonna do, because Presti kind of was giving me the vibes of like, okay, he's got a little bit longer arms. He may have be like a dark horse in this, getting next to Chris and everything, but
Let's go
he
one. Let's
slipped.
go one step at a time. Before we
He
get to
slipped down into the.
yeah. Before we get to the athletes, let's talk about the show overall.
Oh,
So
sure.
yeah,
What
yeah.
the promoter Evels, the promoter Peter, him and his son, they did a great job. All the little fires and everything that come up during the show and everything. They were doing their best to try to put all the little fires along the way, and um, got quite a little situation over here in Prague, man. I think they even getting a bigger venue next year. So
Well, they
they,
they might not have no Chris Bumstead next year, so be careful
I
with a
know.
bigger. Be careful.
They,
Yeah, be careful with a bigger venue if you don't have Chris Bumstead.
they say he might be coming back for some type of ambassadorship or something
Yeah,
next year.
that would be smart. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
smart.
So that's what that's supposedly. I don't want to say, say it's going to be and don't happen, but that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Uh,
Chris, it's true that there was 4,000 people both nights. I mean,
Oh yeah, it was packed. It was standing room only. It was, backstage, front stage. It was just full of people inside that place. And then afterwards, there was people waiting in the audit in the
If there's 4,000 people both nights, that means they had more people than the Olympia.
in the parking lot and everything.
No, but you know what I'm saying? That means there was more people than at the Olympia.
They're in the parking lot waiting for Chris to come,
Yeah, I can see that happening.
asking me when is he coming. I'm like, well, the show is now. Get an hour before, so just wait, just
Yeah.
wait.
I was talking
But,
to Stefan, coach.
man, they had a lot of the older competitors come through. Krizo was there, Nexzilla was there, all the different champions. I thought we were gonna see Samson, but he didn't show. And who else? I mean, man. And then they had some good little meals there, some good little stuff, good food to eat there and stuff. So
Good
it
little
was cool
meals.
though.
Good little meals. Look at Chris explaining how good the show was. They had some good little meals there.
Good meals there.
So,
It was good though.
okay, I didn't see much. I watched the live stream on Saturday at the prejudging.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Well, let me say welcome to the show, Stefan.
Give me a second. I just pick up some other headphones.
All
Yeah.
right.
Anyways,
They're here.
what were we saying? See, that's why I should make notes.
Got little tables there with the fruit there, and I had that, and then when they started the amateurs the day before, all Saturdays all amateurs, and then they had the prejudging that night. That night was crazy. Like I say, the energy between those two competitors, they were the headliners, but also Sean held his on the whole time.
Yeah.
Now it works.
Can you hear us, Stefan?
Yes, all fine now.
Okay, welcome to the show, my man.
Ready to rock.
I appreciate.
Hello.
I appreciate the spontaneous check-in. Awesome.
I just want to say one thing, because I couldn't say it. Stefan told me last night that he has never been to any show like this. 4,000 people, 2 days, bringing the house down. Can you tell us?
Oh, it was just magic. I think the opportunity the promoter got with Chris competing and the combination of that within a very, very good competitive field combined with that Chris thing, the bigger event location from the last years where it has been in the Hilton, going back to the old event place where it had been before the Corona times, with an event crowd completely full, over 4,000 people in, I would say, a very respectful, cheering, emotional atmosphere, was the most mind-blowing bodybuilding competition I've ever seen.
There you go. All right. Listen, of course, guys, I pick Stefan's brain as far as competition, how it went. But our ambassador and representative, Chris, was there. So I don't want to tell you what Stefan said, and he's going to say it himself. Tell us how you saw the prejudging. We were communicating, reporting. What did you see at the prejudging?
Chris or me? Chris.
No, Chris. Yeah, I know what you did. So let's hear the Chris.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like I said, Chris held a lot of energy. Wherever he went, whatever he did, he held a lot of. He like it was just like oozing over with energy, right? And so when they all came out, everybody's pumped up. All came out. Of course, they got the first call out, and then for me, my thing is, I was saying, okay, judging back from the Detroit show, you have Martin, was the best we saw him at that juncture of his career. Then you turn around and he upped the ante at the Night of Champions and, pushed towards almost winning that show, and he upped the ante again. He got bigger. Then at the Olympia, he totally peaked out to the max. Like crab shot was granite, back to a bicep was awesome, last spread, everything. Posing was impeccable. Ab and thigh. As I say, he improved his abs. He improved his ab and thigh shot. All these shots improved, and he got rewarded. He almost could have arguably went anywhere, even a spot up or a spot or 2 spots up. Who knows?
Where?
But
Where?
in Olympia.
Oh, you think Martin could have got second?
Well, he could have went. He could have, depending on who's.
Well,
second,
he could have won, but is that really what you're saying?
I'm saying he could have even placed better than what he did, and no one could have been like, "Oh man, that's total bullshit."
Okay.
Like he looked fucking the best I ever saw him at the Olympia.
Okay.
Then bringing that with that body, I was thinking, I don't think he can hold that and improve on that. And I thought he held a little bit of water as opposed to how he looked at the Olympia. Not that he was off, but he was holding a little bit of water, a little film. And so as they started to pose, it started to, like, his body started to react in a way. I didn't know that he hurt himself or whatever like that. But you could tell something happened, and he started going the opposite way,
So
Chris
you're saying with posing he got worse?
Yeah, he was hitting his poses weird. He was not posing.
Okay, so what you're saying is, because you don't explain 5 minutes, that he was not as good as the Olympia. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, he wasn't as good as the Olympia.
Okay.
Was fucking,
was he as good as he was? Was he as good as Detroit, New York?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he upped the ante at the Olympia.
Because the only 2 people that can really say how good he was is you and Stefan, because me and Milos, we watching the screen. And the screen obviously wasn't what it was at the end, because by looking at the screen, I agree with what you just said, that he was holding water. He was looking a little soft. But then I saw pictures where it didn't look like the screen. So the screen, I would never trust the screen no more.
What was the picture from the prejudging or the next day?
No. I'm only talking about prejudging. I didn't see the finals. The prejudging. I said at the prejudging, and Chris, you agreed, because I remember I texted you. I said, "Who's winning?" You said, "Probably Martin." That was your response after prejudging. And then I said to you, he said, "Yeah, I thought he looked just a little soft on the stream." And then you basically said he was pissed. I don't know what that meant, but
I can solve that whole discussion within 2 seconds.
Wait,
I know. Hold on, Stefan, just 1 second.
But when I went to the back, he was visibly upset. Pretty upset. I didn't know if Stefan said something to him or he was saying something to Stefan, but something was said, and he was visibly like upset, like pissed.
Okay.
And then I saw Chris coming out with all his fanfare and hoopla coming out, and then they were leaving. I took a photo with Martin, after the prejudging, and just to hug him, I could tell that he was pretty distraught, and I don't know what was it all about.
Maybe he was annoyed. But just to give me and Milos' perspective before Stefan chimes in, because he could tell us. Milos, did we agree that he looked a little bit softer at prejudging?
Yeah, it kind of looked that way.
Yeah.
He was not as granite hard. But then again, I learned my lesson with him. Like I said, seeing him here, taking a picture of him and looking at the picture, that's like nothing. And looking at him in person, peeled beyond
you can never judge.
This is already there. Going into the show, I was sure that Martin's going to win. I said you guys that breakdown, I see Chris winning first 3 poses 2 weeks before the show, right? Front double, lat spread, and side chest. And he's going to lose everything. regardless of what they look like. That's what I was thinking. Just knowing their bodies and shape and structure and assuming the condition and all that stuff. But Chris, I think that you and I talked a little bit after the show. Yeah, during the show, we were texting each other, and Dennis and I were watching together. I was in New York, and he was home. It was quite a good stream. I mean, it was not bad stream.
No, no,
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on the stream. I'm
Yeah.
just
Oh, it was
saying.
good.
All I'm
Yeah.
saying is that I can never
The film was
judge.
getting picked up.
You could not possibly judge a show as a judge online. You would have to sit there in front of the stage in order to see these guys. And because certain people come across better on the stream, and for some it's the opposite. And by Martin, it looked to me like maybe because it felt like he wasn't really dark. Maybe if he would have been a little darker, he would have looked better on the stream. Because Chris was really dark, and that's why he appeared to be better conditioned.
So, Stefan, just one more minute, because I want you to make all the points right after you hear everything. So after judging, I'm asking Chris, what's happening? He says Chris is winning. So, whoa.
Oh, Chris
So-
said that, Chris?
Chris told me that he saw Bouncer winning, has the cleaner lines, all this shape, and he doesn't gives out that much exactly in certain poses.
No
Of
wonder
course,
Martin was mad at him.
Yeah, Martin is so that's how I still couldn't take it that yes, there is still huge discrepancy into this two-dimensional and three-dimensional bodybuilder, right? But anyway, so you were thinking, Chris, that possibly after prejudging, Chris is ahead. Fair
Yeah, I
step.
was thinking. If you judging from the way Martin was posing, I got to say number one was not good at all. He improved 100% in his posing and
So
conditioning.
what do
and
you
shape.
think happened from the Olympia to fucking Prague in his posing? What do you mean? How bad can it get?
Well, the front lat spread wasn't. The front and rear lat spread was not right. His shoulders were a little bit lower. He had I don't know the way he was hitting his heart, but it wasn't right. I could prove it because I saved it because I knew you might be acting all weird about it.
But okay, let's give it Stefan a chance now.
Yeah, Stefan, clear up.
Okay.
Clear this up for us.
So when we went into the show, I was totally sure, and I still stand to that is fact that Martin was better as at the Olympia. Condition-wise and the whole package, we had some new details we've never seen before. He never had striation in his erectors. That was something which was totally new. The leg separation from the hips down were a little bit better. We were able to see more of the sartorius, so I was very, very, very happy. So the show time came, and the arrival of Martin at the show was quite late. There was a traffic jam, and new city, taxi didn't come, blah, 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 blah. And when he came, he always pre-tens himself, and he was thinking that the tan could be enough. And he dropped off his clothes, and it was clearly visible he needs more tan. Mm-hmm. So he went into the tanning booth, I would say 45 minutes before the show, so the tan wasn't able to get soaked in. So that was the first thing, he was too bright.
Yeah.
Exactly as you say, Dennis.
Yeah.
He was too bright. The second thing is the tan wasn't fully dried and soaked in, which made it running a little bit.
Right.
Like always when the tanning isn't. So that was one of the problems, which I'm definitely sure you can agree with me, can influence your way of presentation when you get insecure because the tan is running.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The second, and actually the biggest issue, was when you see pictures of the prejudging, you will recognize the individual presentation, the condition was on point. There are videos of the individual presentation that you see from the front and the back, it was on point. When it came to the comparisons, the second time he turned back, he tore parts of his hamstring.
Hamstring.
The point when he always steps back and then he twists his leg in. And the moment he twists his leg in, there was the fucking pop.
Why
So
does
he wasn't
generation do that? Why does generation do that? They all do that.
Okay,
You
Stefan, continue. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah. So he wasn't able to contract his glutes into full pressure. So that was the first problem. The second problem was the pain, and for sure the 10 was running, and the injury came. Cortisol levels went high. So that was the problem. Why his presentation got more awkward in the amount of comparison which came, because it got worse and worse. The total opposite, which normally happens with Martin's physique. Martin's physique is very special. He needs to contract very, very hard with the kind of muscle and skin structure he has to show his full potential. Because that's always the issue when he's not going all out in posing. So he had the problem with the irritation of the 10 and getting into full contraction at the second round of comparisons. So actually from the prejudging to the finals, we didn't change anything. I just washed a little bit his head, some motivational speeches. You need to stand over the injury. You need to handle that like a pro, come back as a champion. You are the champion. Nobody can take that away from you, because I knew how good the package was. It just needed to be displayed that way. And Martin showed on the next day that if the tanning is correct, he has some painkillers into it and the injury iced, that he can nail the condition, and he made it 100% sure that he is the winner.
Now, Chris, go back to your question. You said, why are they doing that? Why do you think?
They want to look cool, and they think they can get a better I don't know, some kind of better look, better contraction out of that whole area.
Yeah,
hamstring and glute.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do in order to show what you have. I mean,
if you just stick your toe into the ground and pull up pressure like you're doing a leg curl by keeping your toes into the ground.
But that's the same. That's the same as if you would tell someone, Chris, listen, if you want to show your quad, get on your heel, not on your toe.
Well,
everybody's different, you know. Some people they will show their quad on their heel, and some people better off with the foot flat on the ground. So it's a matter of how you practice your posing. You know,
and the way especially of doing that is also to show the separation in the hamstrings, but still get the adductor unfold, because you want to have that whole width from the air from the back. I think Neil Walker made that as a new trend and did that to perfection. And actually, I find it quite cool when you see that whole amount of adductor with the squeezed glute and the full feathered up hamstring.
I'm not a big fan of it myself. I just think it takes the body and makes it more blockier.
Chris, you're old school. This is new school.
I know. I'm just saying. I said myself.
No, you old school. I get it. I get what you're saying. You old school.
Yeah, it's a total different style. It's full straight back, hamstring dialed in, and that was like they did before with a more, I would say, slimmer and not adductor focus posing of the rear leg.
Well, you remember back in 70s and 80s how they were doing back poses. Legs were like
straight,
completely straight.
Yeah.
They don't flare nothing.
No, but I get.
Still Dorian did it. Straight.
I think if you have crazy calves, you can go straight. If your calves are not crazy, you shouldn't go straight. There's little things. You look at yourself when you pose, and I remember, because I used to do that too. I used to turn my knee out a little bit to open that hamstring up. You know what I'm saying? And I can see that. Yeah, I can see why.
Stefan, what was going on after the prejudging? What was he feeling?
But now you know. But now you know why he was annoyed backstage, Chris. Now you know why.
After prejudging, he was quite, because Marty is for me one of the most competitive guys out there. He is a true sportsman who always wants perfection. He was kind of sad because he knew his posing wasn't as it should be. So the first thing he was angry at himself because he got distracted from the 10 which was running off, from the injury, because he couldn't fight the way he wanted to fight in that moment. And that got him annoyed. So that was the base to get into his head and build it up for the next day.
Yeah. Just to say this.
Actually, the only thing we did was cooling. some painkillers in the right place, using it topical, and then be sure that posing on the next day is on point and he can build up the pressure in the muscle.
Yeah.
So no other adaptations like more dehydration or more food or anything. We just keep going.
Yes, in some circumstances, it's actually good if it's a 2-day event because you have 24 hours to work on changing what you fucked up the day before. If that would have been the same night, like morning and night, it would have been maybe not enough time to get all the overall this. So
I think it would, especially in that case, 30 minutes would have been enough. Just get rid of the pain, cool it, and then do the fucking right thing with the fucking right willpower on stage, because it was really not a water issue or a quality issue. It was the way the pressure was built up during posing on stage.
Okay, so Stefan, since you're here, I'm glad. Because
Yeah.
I know Chris was there, and this would normally be a question for Chris, but since you're here, I'm going to ask you as a guest. Me and Milos, we were both pretty high on Andrea Presti before the show. Matter of fact, Milos was the one that convinced him to jump into the show because he's not supposed to get on stage until, I think, Spain. So Milos somewhat convinced him and his coach to do Prague, to get a chance to stand next to Chris Bumstead, which never happened. And even though we saw Andrea, and I thought, and this is the stream again, I thought he was much better than he got the call-outs. I mean, the call-outs that he got third call-out on the outside.
100%.
Was that okay, or did you see something?
No. In my idea, I'm a little bit biased because I'm a friend of Andrea.
Okay.
And Mauri. So I would say I'm a little bit biased.
Me too.
But even if I'm a little bit biased, there is no way he wasn't even in the third. It was the fourth, I would say, special call out because he was still there, There were guys in the second call out which in every aspect of bodybuilding, no matter how you would judge it, in which shape, symmetry, condition, blah, 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 whatever, he would have needed to be in that second call-out. Andrea wasn't at his best. I think Andrea is a guy who needs that 100% condition to display his best physique, and he was maybe 95 to 98% because they were thinking about Spain, but still it was definitely good enough for a second call-out. So the way that they placed him in that direction in the end, I had clearly no understanding or no idea why that happened, because there was no reason. He had his midsection under control. His condition was very, very good, not superb as it sometimes is, but still very, very good. His muscle mass is there, his density is there. He has lacking legs compared to his upper body, but there were people in the second call out with I think the smallest biceps I've ever seen on stage. So if you come with that symmetry discussion, it would have been just awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously the judges somehow revised it a little bit, and he moved into 8th. Because I think from judging by the call-outs on Saturday, he was like 15th, 16th.
Yeah, it must be because it was that late,
Yeah.
I thought he should have been the second call-out. But if you just
exactly.
down his upper body and get that proportions together, I think it is doing better.
Yeah, but if you, listen, I remember being harsh on Andrea for his first Olympia, and I mean, Mauro, they came up to me at the Olympia back then in Arnold, because I said he's going to be fighting for last, the first Olympia, and I meant that, and when he asked me, and he said, why, what do you mean? I said, I mean, he's going to have a hard time in his first Olympia, and it was exactly as I said. But I see the improvements they've been making in the last couple of years, and he is in Europe. I count him as one of the top guys in Europe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So for him, there's no possible chance to go to a show like the Prague and get overlooked. That's not possible. That's why I wanted to know.
So we thought that he cannot be overlooked.
I think we all feel 4 people think the same.
Yeah. It was, but I don't have a word in this because I wasn't there. I watched the stream, and I can't wait to hear from Steve what the reason was why they didn't see him
He
on
wants
Saturday.
to come on. He wants to come on.
I'm gonna ask him to come on next week. Just to see if his. I want
Text him now. Text him now.
No, I'm not going to do this short thing with Steve. I'm going to let him know for next week. And, because he might be traveling too. And I just want to know, what did you see that I didn't see?
I think when he ended at 8, that was quite okay. There was maybe a little bit of playground to get a little bit more, like 6 or something like that. But a top 5 spot wouldn't have been possible for him.
Yeah, 6.
Right.
In that show.
Biggest surprise to me. Stefan.
The German.
I didn't even know he was German. I didn't know who he was. I texted Milos. I said, "Are you watching the live stream?" It was just in the very beginning when they brought him out in groups. And Milos said, "Fuck, is it on?" I said, "Yes." So
What's his nickname? Hallo?
I don't know.
Holle.
Holle. Oh, Holvek is his last name.
His nickname is Holle. Yeah, Holle. Is his
Holle.
So me and Milos, we watched it on different computers and we FaceTiming each other and talking. I said, "Listen, I don't know who this guy is, but that was before they did the individuals." I said, "But this guy, number 9, looks fucking good."
He was a classic competitor before.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen, when I saw the name, of course I remember the name, but I never met him. I never knew what he looked like, to be honest. And he impressed me really, really. I mean, he stood out.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for this guy that he ended up in 4th, because you could see in his face when he got called in the first call out. You could see this. Listen, you could have fucking tell him you're dying tomorrow. He would have been fine.
It was
he was
Christmas
so
and
happy.
Easter
He
and
was-
one date.
Yeah. I love these reactions of people that they go into a show hoping they do well, but they don't, in their wildest dream, they do not expect to be in the mix with 3 other guys that are fucking Olympians.
And then you stand next to Chris Bumstead and being compared
Oh,
directly.
you could see in his face.
Yeah, I
Listen,
mean,
shoot me tomorrow. I'm good.
Okay.
Right, Stefan, right?
And he tied with Horst. He tied with Horst.
Just a little thing. When I left the hotel Monday at 11 o'clock, Monday 11 o'clock, he was still sitting in the lobby.
Oh, he was smiling. I was there.
Stefan, do you have a contact to this guy?
Yeah, I know Matthias. Manuel Bauer is his coach.
Oh, perfect.
I know Matthias since some shows. He got pro last year in Italy, where he won the overall and immediately jumped into the open show and got 6th.
Okay.
So at his first pro show in Italy, he got 6th. That was the show. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
You talking about the show that what's his name won? Beirut?
I don't know if what. No, it was the Nathan show.
Oh,
It was the show Nathan won before Regan. So 2 years ago.
2 years
It was
ago.
2 years ago, I think.
Okay.
Don't beat me. I think it was 2 years.
Yeah.
Then he switched to classic and did Prague last year and got, I would say, a punch in the face because he ended up not being in the top 5. I can't remember the exact place, 7th or 9th or something like that, but not in the top 5. Then he said, okay, I'm going to build some mess up and gonna compete in open. So that was now his second show in open because his pro debut has been in open.
Yeah.
And he ended up being brilliant. But I think one reason why he ended up that good was because of Chris, and there was a comparable body type call
in
out.
the
They
league, right?
put him in. I think that was a reason.
They were both in the first group, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why.
No,
See-
Chris was first, Jorge was second.
okay, who was he in the group with? Because he stood out to me.
He was in the group. So the first group went until Mike Sisler, and the second group went, I think, until Holle or one after. So he was in the group with SHAUN, with Martin.
Okay, that's why. Because he had
Yes.
to be in a group with someone good because he stood out. I
He
said,
was in the group with SHAUN and Martin.
Yeah. Does he speak English?
Yeah, really.
I think he does. Yeah,
Yeah,
he does.
I got to bring him. I got to bring him on. I want to celebrate this guy. I got to bring him on.
I spoke with him yesterday. He speaks English. He's the
All
one
right.
telling me how to say his name.
But on that note, and I love the guy, beautiful physique and everything. But on the basis that Martin beat Chris Bumstead, horse should beat this guy, Matthias. And I wanna dissect now a little bit more with Stefan, because I told Stefan yesterday that I would give first three poses to Chris, and then before he answers what he told me, I want to ask Chris and Dennis, because I know your answer, Stefan, but I want to,
You want to know my?
your break down each pose.
Okay, I tell you the truth now because I'm not going off the stream. I'm going off pictures.
Okay.
Okay.
And you Chris, the same thing.
By going off pictures, I would give the front double to Martin. The lat spread, front lat spread is a toss-up. And I would give the side chest also to Martin. Because it's the muscle. I mean, it's the muscle. It's not, if I look at classic, I would say Chris. But in bodybuilding, I got to give it to Martin. And that's going off pictures, not the stream. The stream was different because Martin he obviously looked like he was not on. And that's why, I thought that Chris had the edge leaving prejudging. So when I saw the scorecards, I was like, damn, this was a clear-cut win for Martin. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, but hold on. After the prejudging, you were believing that Chris is winning.
I just explained to you what did I just say? After prejudging, I thought Chris walked away as an elite. But looking at the pictures.
Pose by pose, okay.
All right.
And the rest of the pose?
All to Martin.
All to Martin. How about you, Chris?
At the time, I went with Chris winning front, rear lat spread, front lat spread, side tricep, and Martin won muscular, ab and thigh.
Which show did you go, man? Go with the first pose, front double biceps. Who won front double biceps? Stop putting the cards.
I told you, I said I was impressed with Chris's front double, and I'm normally not. I thought he had weight and the shape. I'm looking at the shape of his body with the lats coming down to the bottom of the ribs and the small waist here. I mean, it was a good look.
Okay,
huh?
Does he win that pose or what?
I said I gave him the front double bicep. I just described to you what I was looking at and why. What do you want me to say?
No, I didn't get that.
Lat spread.
So front double, Chris. Front lat spread.
I gave it to Chris.
Beautiful. Side chest.
I gave it to Chris.
Okay. We are speaking.
Back double.
Okay.
Martin.
Now back double.
Martin.
Back lat spread.
Chris.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask you why.
He was hitting it fucked up. He was not posing right.
Okay, so let's say if he would pose right.
Tricep.
How can I say he posed right?
Well, you seen him pose right before. You said his posing was impeccable. At the Olympia, you said it
from the prejudging. I didn't even really watch the night show that much because I was running around doing interviews and shit.
Oh. But you said you said his posing was Chris.
His coach told you.
Chris,
hold on. Dennis.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on. You said his posing was impeccable at the Olympia, so you know what he normally looks like, right? Hitting the poses right.
How can I take that into this show, though? I know that it was way off. I knew he hit it better before. I've been working with him with posing before. I know how he poses. I just know
Okay,
that he wasn't.
So Mike,
He was hitting a number of poses not right.
all right, Martin double biceps, rear double biceps. Chris rear lat spread. What about
Side tricep.
side triceps?
You said Chris.
Yeah.
I said Chris. Then I said Martin got the most muscular.
What about abs and thighs?
Thigh.
Okay.
Martin.
So you think he edged him out by one pose?
If you count it up that way, I would say, but I'm telling you, the rear lat spread was not executed right.
Okay, and how does he beat the side triceps?
Huh?
How,
It was a toss up because like Chris had the whole frame thing, and I was impressed because I never seen Chris hit a side tricep before,
Yeah, me
and
neither.
I was impressed with the horseshoe he had going on, and he was pretty hard. So I never, and the whole frame itself, he was an impressive guy. He was impressive.
let's ask Martin. Martin, break it
Me,
down the mandatory poses between Chris and Martin.
Stefan.
Me.
Stefan,
Yeah.
Stefan, yes.
It's quite a short answer. I had Martin winning every pose, and I can also explain. So when we go to the front double biceps, we have I think one of the biggest problem between live and stream is that on stream or on pictures, we just see it two-dimensional and can't see the thickness as we see it when we are live sitting sideways. The thickness, even with your raised arms of the chest area, the biceps, the whole arm, the thickness in the legs, with still a small waist, made Martin in bodybuilding criteria way ahead. The same goes for the lat spread because when you see Chris lat spread, it even points out that he is missing that fullness because his shoulders stand out so prominent because of his bone structure. And then the chest falls in and the arms are not that round and the legs, which are brilliantly separated, but they have no bubbles, as I would call it. In the side chest is the same. Back double biceps, much more depth in the back. Even in the back lat spread on the prejudging, where he fucked the pose a little bit up because of the issues we had before. Side triceps all the way, Martin. In the most muscular, if we compare the crab, Chris Crab would have been brilliant, but the standing closed one, I had Martin advanced to it. That would a little bit go to which person hits the pose. So the main difference for me is that you clearly can see that Chris is one of the greatest bodybuilder of all time, but he is a classic physique athlete. You see that in his deeper separations, the way of his muscle is structured, that he's more on the stringy is a bad word, but I think you know what I mean. He is more in the thinner but well separated direction from the way he is built than on the full bubbly direction. And for me, bodybuilding all the way is round, dense, grainy muscle. And that's what Martin displayed in every pose with a very, very good bone structure for an open guy, because his clavicles compared to his midsection are just insane. Maybe the same way than Chris, just with the disadvantage that he's a little bit shorter than Chris, which makes Chris a little bit more, I would say, especially on pictures, standing out. But in reality, always that thickness is the winning thing for me.
Yeah. I mean, we have to distinguish classic and open. I mean, that's major. We would like to have a classical shape open bodybuilders. I mean, thicker. That would be ideal. That's Samson.
You know
That's-
what? You know what?
Yeah, Samson, but Martin also goes in that direction because
Yes.
he has that symmetry,
Classic.
that bone structure of a classical guy. No bubble gut, nothing which goes in that direction. Classical symmetry, just very, very round.
Yeah, but you see, okay, now let's touch that German guy, Matthias, right? It's a classical lines. He didn't have that
So
legs
that
and
was
arms, right?
what I thought. We didn't discuss that. When I go the judging in that way, even if Shaun is way shorter, I would have had Shaun on second.
Second place, yeah.
Because he was full as fuck. His midsection was back as his best time.
Yeah.
He was grainy, he was dense, he had no structural mistakes. So bodybuilding wise, for me, Shaun should have got second, Chris third, Marcello fourth, and Holle fifth to end that up.
Yeah.
They were tied anyway, so they were
Yeah.
Well, Shaun does have a little bit structurally narrow shoulders, narrow clavicles, and being short, and a narrow, that reflects. That's why. But he's super impressive. If you, I had also the video of just Shaun and Chris, and I was comparing, and yeah, I could see. Dennis is big on Shaun. He believed. Uh, you even believe that Shaun could have beat Martin.
I said if they're off, Sean could win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said this leading up. I said we
But
underestimate Sean sometimes.
so here's the thin line. If we encourage a lot of classic physiques to come in the open division, right? Because it's beautiful shape, beautiful body. I think that Chris Bumstead has the most beautiful body, right? Everybody want to look like that. That's why Hollywood is waiting for him. Just his stage presence, energy that you said, what he brings to the, even if he would not be popular, if that was the first time he stepped on the stage, you are drawn to that physique.
Yeah, brilliant. It's brilliant.
When he steps on the stage, that front relax. Oh my God. Yes, structure, shoulders, super small waist, okay? Legs separated, not really thick enough. And now this is what judges should consider right away. But even with that, I could still give him a frontal biceps because it was just thing of beauty. The differential between lats and waist was phenomenal because thickness doesn't apply so much in a front double because chest could be a little bit thicker, but chest is stretched, right? So that's one pose that you cannot really appreciate the 3D. It's more 2D. With exception of the legs. Okay. So here, that's why I've seen Chris possibly winning. I would have no problem. And I'm dying to find out from Steve Weinberger if he possibly gave him that pose. I would love to see Tyler Mannion discuss this. Stefan, I don't disagree with you, but I could see that this pose could maybe go to Chris. Let's
the beautiful thing on bodybuilding is we have different perspective, and every perspective is kind of true.
Yeah.
Because what is more important than another thing? It's just our own perspective. So
what we were discussing last night, you're spot on. Somebody would appreciate more conditioning and shape and V-taper in there, and somebody would more good for the thickness. And
but what we can take away from this is that if Chris decides to do an Open Olympia or to do the Open, imagine his physique plus 15 pounds.
Yeah, but is this possible? Because he's a bodybuilder all his life. He trains heavy. He's super disciplined.
That's what I also think.
Put those 15 pounds.
I don't know. I'm just telling you. I said, think about it. If he could, let's say he was, 240, 242 maybe? Let's say he steps on stage at 265 with his physique.
Oh yeah, it's
That shows you, but how good he really is. That he doesn't even have to have those full round muscle bellies, and he still places second behind the top 4 guy at the Olympia. You know that.
Yeah, but the question is, do you really think that Chris could build up, let's say, 20 pounds of muscle in the point of where he stands with his career and after all those years? Do you think?
No,
I don't. That's possible.
No, I don't think he could because I think
He's only 30, right?
I don't think he could, because I think he checked out. He's mentally checked out and trying to gain any weight.
But
So
do you think if someone would go all in, he could build those 20 pounds after that many years?
I think that he probably held back a lot of years because he knew he had to make weight or he had to stay in a specific weight limit under. So I think he didn't want to be 270, 80, 90 pounds like Urs can be, and then have to lose all this weight to diet. I think maybe he held himself back. I don't know. I mean, only Chris would know.
I think he could do it. I think isn't like 30 years old now, 31?
He's
31, something like
you're
that.
going to be your maximum between 36 and 38, your maximum weight.
Yeah.
One thing is that Stefan agrees. I think that Chris Bumstead had the most fun in his life on this stage, comparing to any other show he ever did. 6 Olympias that he won on the classic stage.
Because there was no pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, but
and the crowd feedback, Dennis, you should have been there. that crowd feedback, that noise, the Olympia. Sometimes at the Olympia, you can hear something falling on the floor because people are so unemotional.
This year,
But
it was this year. But
they're all freaked out. It was insane.
Yeah, I can imagine because
it was like, Dennis James classic when David Hoffman won.
I imagine
that was also that atmosphere.
Yeah,
no, it felt like a little college football stadium.
Yeah,
the way people just so like.
Yeah, but that shows you that this how alive this sport it really is if you do the right thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. And especially, and I have to say this, it's much better in Europe than in the United States. If you look at shows in Europe, if you bring guys, if you bring names to shows in Europe, you're going to sell out other venues. The crowd in Europe is just different, because this is what Stefan just said. This year at the Olympia, I felt like, what is wrong with the crowd?
They think they're better than the ones on the stage.
Huh?
They think they're just as good as the ones on the stage.
No, it's just a different support. The support for bodybuilding in Europe is just much better than it is in the US. I'm not saying that because there's way more shows here, of course. But what I'm saying is, you remember when we had the Olympia Europe in Dortmund? Stefan, you remember that? We had guys on stage. We talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. We had Dexter, Shaun Roden, Rolly Winkler. We had this lineup. There was an expo attached to that weekend. The expo sucked ass, but the show was fucking crazy.
Bam. Yeah.
That's the thing that I see in Europe. You can do these things because they don't have access to some of those guys all year round. Because, like I said, there's a huge damn ocean in between.
They can't go to big shows. Olympia, Arnold's not possible, so they come.
Another example. Compare the Arnold Classic Expo, compare the Olympia Expo, and compare it to the FIBO. There you see what I mean. It's just they take advantage of getting a chance to see guys they don't see every day.
And
Milos and Chris and you, Milos, you both know it's been like this forever. It was you guys. I remember standing in fucking line to fucking see you guys at the damn big stage in '93.
Weeder booth.
Yes. What kind of pants was I wearing?
Black and white fucking what was it? Skin tights. Hot skin skin tights. Yeah, of course I know, man.
Hey,
listen, there was this huge clock above the stage where they show you what time the next show would be. They would line up hours before that just to be able to see.
Like this.
Yeah. And it has not changed. If you bring them those guys, the people will come out and watch.
Yeah.
It never changed.
But I'm just saying the roar was just like no other, man. It was crazy.
The only thing that changed in the last 10 years is now we have German athletes that get that support, not only in Germany, worldwide. Like look at Urs. Urs, I mean, his popularity is right next to Chris. It's Urs and Ramon Dino. You can see these guys, and I don't know if it's coincidence that they're all in classic, or if it's because classic is something that everybody aspires to be because this is maybe more achievable for them, or they think this is, maybe, I don't know, the bodybuilders.
I think it's a combination. It's what you say, but also, especially with Urs. Urs is a born showman. He doesn't have to play that role. He is that stage monster which attracts people. And I think that's something, an energy you need to own and to have. And that's a gift like being a pop star. And at the Open, I don't know where there is not such a strong leading figure which could achieve that kind of popularity. Because actually I don't see anyone with that kind of big charisma stepping into stepping into Seabum's footsteps, or getting in the direction of Urs and Ramon, of the publicity they have.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
I think it helped that they competed with Chris and they were all kind of like going
You
against
think
each other.
that's the main thing?
I don't know if it's the main thing, but I think it helps. If you're a Chris Bumstead fan and you follow Chris Bumstead and you see there's this rivalry with Ramon Dino and Urs Kalaczynski, so you automatically follow all of them. You know what I'm saying? So it does help. You know, it's like Hovik. Just an example. He got fourth at the show where if he would have been in the last group, maybe it would have been different. But he was seen right next to these two top guys, and he held his own, and that's why he got a look in his first call out. Are those things that say sometimes you have to be at the right place at the right time to make stuff happen, and it just and I would love for everybody to have this time and the right day, and you know, but it shows that the sport's alive, and at the end of the day, is those guys, they carry the category. Classic physique is the most populous. I mean, we always argue about, it's still bodybuilding and then people come out for bodybuilding, yes. But I would like to see if you put the classic physique on Friday or a Saturday and they open on Sunday, I would like to see the difference.
Of people coming.
Yeah.
I still think and believe open. When it comes to watching the sport, in my opinion, it's still the open. When it comes to following on Instagram, sell products, whatever, I'm with you that there is more popularity in the classic guys. They have a better marketing and that goes more. But when it comes to really, I watch the show and I want to see and I go there, I still think nothing beats open.
Yeah.
But you know, the classic guys, they had the energy. They had the fanfare with the wow. Like they was.
But Chris, don't you agree that it used to be the same with the Open? There was a different energy.
Different energy.
What happened to the energy? Right now, if I was an Open competitor, if I was 30 years younger and I would be an Open competitor, I would look at these classic guys and would fucking start copying shit. You know what I'm saying? And try to bring that energy, on the stage.
But Martin is a good example. He starts doing that. He's competing. He's doing his YouTube game. He sets it up very, very, very professional. But he's he's just one of them.
Yeah,
and we need more.
And that's a smart move. I'm glad he's doing it because you have to realize, listen, the bodybuilding as a competitor, that's going to end one day. So you're going to have to set yourself up somehow for life after bodybuilding, and this is what you do right now, huh?
And Martin has built his character up so nicely because there was a time where people didn't look at him like that. It was a time where he hit rock bottom.
That was the same. It was the same with Derek Lunsford. Derek Lunsford was hated at one point.
Built himself up, and now he's riding a wave now, and he's
it's hard, and sometimes I get it too. It's hard for athletes because, once you go, you turn pro. Now you're a pro, and now you do well because you have a great physique, and you just and all of a sudden your stock will just rise, and not everybody can deal with it right away. Not everybody has somebody on the side that can mentor you how to stay level-headed. You know what I'm saying? Some people go like, "Shit, I'm the shit," and they're trying to act like it, and that can hurt you. That can hurt you.
How would Keone Pearson do in this show? Olympia version of Keone.
Holy. It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Second.
Very interesting.
Hey.
I knew he was going to say second.
I thought about this a couple days ago.
Hey, they're pretty much the same height, right?
No, but Dennis, I thought I dreamt it, or I was thinking about it, but it was on my mind a couple of days ago. At the Olympia, why wouldn't they have an overall, no matter what category it is, an overall female and an overall male, just overall. the best
Like it was in the first days at the overall Olympias with Franco and Arnold,
overall.
light and heavyweight.
The best middleweight, the best open.
No, there was a
But
six Olympias.
what does that do? Think about it.
Extra
Samson
King
wins.
and queen.
Okay, hold on. Samson wins the Olympia.
What does it do the same?
Hold on. Let me
I know what
finish.
you're gonna say.
Keon finishes the Olympia, wins. Samson wins. They both missed the Olympia. Now they're going to go for the overall, and Keon wins. Doesn't
Well, I
that
think
take
Samson-
away from Samson?
But I think Samson can still win.
I know he can, absolutely. But what if he loses?
Dennis,
So now
listen,
you,
listen, listen,
so
Dennis.
now you won the Olympia, but you really lost
Dennis, wait,
to a
It's just
212
like if you want
to
a
a
super
212
heavyweight.
guy.
hey, Mike
what if it's a
Manzer
super
won the.
heavyweight and a middleweight?
I
wins the
know,
overall?
Chris, but this is the amateur level. It's different.
same.
If you go to the biggest show in the world, now you the
Okay,
top.
call it the people's.
Top-
Call it the people's.
Okay, Chris, I don't want to mute you. Come on. If you're a top guy,
I'll mute you.
hold on. If you're a top guy, you win the Olympia, and there's a top 212 Olympia. Why they call it 212 Mr. Olympia, not Mr. Olympia? What would I have to call? Let's see. What if Keon beats Samson? Should I
Well,
call?
what is by definition? What is Mr. Olympia? The best bodybuilder in the world.
Yeah, but
the world.
why do we call
He's the
him?
best.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, but if we do a comparison between the 212 and the Open Mr. Olympia, now who's the real Mr. Olympia?
The one who wins that comparison.
Okay, so that doesn't.
The real Mr. Olympia.
But
Hey, in a history. Well, just for a second. In the history, there was 6 times lightweight Olympia against heavyweight. 4 out of 6 lightweight won.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Do the research.
so why is it no longer?
I don't know why they stopped it. I don't know, but
Because you're
only
gonna make- you're
Arnold
gonna-
was beating
because you-
Franco, but Frank Zane was beating Mike Manzer and Robbie Robinson, and and even when Franco won, the 1981, right? There was the same thing. He
But
beat,
don't you think there's a reason why they stopped it?
I don't know, and I don't know if it's a good idea or bad idea. But if Mr. Olympia, what is it? Do the Google chat, whatever, the GPT. It's the best bodybuilder in the world. If 212,
I for sure think we can't mix classic with bodybuilding. We could mix 212 with open, but then comes the question, when it comes to the Mr. Olympia, do we need the 212 or could it be one bodybuilding like it
it
was?
should be one. It
I
should be.
think they should.
It should be one. But okay, let's give 212 guys.
So we
the
have
category.
how many do 10 Olympia titles? Is it 9 or 10 total? Let's say 10.
All categories. I don't know.
10. So now, who's the king of all?
That's why
We just can go to 12 and bodybuilding, and in female classes, maybe we
What
can
about-
go physique
But-
and
but-
open, but
but-
we can't
What
do the
about
other
fitness?
thing to the box.
Okay, but what I'm
Impossible.
but what I'm saying is, out of all the 10 categories, who is the king?
Open.
All right, that's what I'm saying. Now, if we start comparing the Open to the 212 and the 212 wins, that makes the 212 guy the king. So I wouldn't be able to sell my Mr. Olympia title as much as I really wanted to because I got beat by a 212 guy.
Hey, but that's that additional fight. One
it's
more
a-
round. Right?
Yeah, it's an additional
Super
thing.
fight.
It's not gonna take
Yeah,
away.
Listen, I'm
but
not-
then the prize money needs to be different. They
Yeah.
could say, okay, 212 gets 100, Open gets 100, and the overall gets 500.
So if the 212 guy beats the Open in the overall, he needs
He
to
gets
give him
500
he
more.
needs to give him 300,000 from his 600. Yeah, no.
No, I just said it would be Open 100, 212 100, and
you
then
get a
overall
bonus.
500.
I don't
Well,
think
bonus.
I don't think they will
Shit.
ever do that again because
Nah, it's shit.
it takes away from
Yeah.
you winning your show.
But what did they
Because
have
if you
this
have
show?
the balls, you can go as a 212 in the Open.
Yeah, but you're still gonna walk
If you
out.
think
of that.
if you think you can beat them,
Yeah.
just go there.
Yeah.
I think how much over 212 was Dexter Jackson?
Maybe 10 pounds.
About 230 something.
But that's what he says.
Yeah.
Dexter was in his 220s, I think. I mean, later he was a little bit bigger. He said he was 240. When he says 240, I think he
But
was
still,
230.
he shows that as a 212, you can win the Open Olympia.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Probably.
What did
Yeah.
they have
I mean, Derek and Hardy both showed it.
Yeah, also with about 220,
Yeah,
I would
what
say.
Yeah.
For sure. But listen, first time ever we have a first, second, third three different divisions. Three different divisions, you know,
Yes, you're right.
and they looked that they belonged there on the stage.
That's
What
why I
I
came up with,
what,
that's why I
what,
was thinking about it,
what
Milos.
I'm bummed out.
Okay.
Okay, here is, I'm gonna tell you. We all agree that classic physique is becoming so popular, beautiful, right? And then we have a classic champ doing the poses that he never does on the classic stage, that he looks phenomenal. Front lat spread, side tricep, most muscular. You know, why are those poses not in a classic? You know, oh,
Yeah,
because
that I also don't understand. Don't understand that.
It'll take all
Or-
night. I don't know.
it's classic bodybuilding still. And I think they would love to see it. What is it?
Chris said,
Best answer ever.
Chris said, "Can you imagine? You know, we were sitting there prejudging at the Olympia, the Classic. That shit took an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, just for the damn,
There's 60 guys.
just for the individuals.
Have you read today? There was a post. Just think about. I don't know if you read it. How many classic physique guys are already qualified for 25 Olympia
Oh.
until now?
How many?
You guess?
25.
Yeah, 24.
24. What?
How is it possible?
We're still in 2024.
But they was already counting shows while the Olympia was going on. They had like the Legion. They had.
Listen, we had shows already after the Olympia. I mean, plenty shows, and there was 2 shows prior that qualified for next year. So there was,
next
yeah.
24 people.
Listen, I had one qualified at my show on Saturday, and the next day in Spain on Sunday. So they going because it's.
Oh my God!
As a
Hey,
promoter, I got to tell you again,
it's more than last year.
as a promoter, it's so much easier to do a classic physique show because it's just much cheaper. The prize
Yeah,
money is not
we
as
have
high.
that price. We have the
This-
price difference.
Yeah, the
for
sanction
sure.
fee is not as high. You know what I mean? So it's
There's not a lot of
it's
open shows, right?
How many classic professionals are there?
a lot.
You mean in total thousands? I have no idea.
Thousands?
Must be. Yeah.
I mean,
when I say 1,000,
Worldwide,
I'm
though,
not that
now.
wrong.
But if you
I'm
look,
not
if you
that wrong.
if you look at it,
Hey,
if you look at it this
it's-
way, every man physique and every bodybuilder is a classic competitor if they want
Hey,
to.
But Dennis, it became popular in the other state in other countries. So there are some countries like the Chinese or whatever, like the men's physique is going to be very popular because that fits their genetics. And then I got the Nigerians doing their open bodybuilding. Then you got the Americans doing their thing, and it's very popular. But it's worldwide now. I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, I mean,
Worldwide.
back in our times, it's pretty much we would do almost all the shows, right? So there was a possibility that almost all the pros come to the show. Now there is, if it's 400 or 500 classic people,
For sure, more.
imagine more. So theoretically speaking, 500 people can sign up for a show. What are you going to do with it?
Imagine,
And every show like the world.
as a hardcore coach, I have some weekends with 7, 8 pro shows one weekend. One weekend with 3 or 4 different classic shows on different continents on one weekend, not month. One weekend. The amount of shows is insane.
I take my hat off to you, Stefan. Hey, Dennis, Chris, Stefan had like up to 30 guys in a day. On
Could happen.
4 different continents.
yeah, he's
Prague were 13.
yeah. In 5 years, he's gonna be so burned out. He's gonna
No, I
be
sleep. I sleep more as Chris.
yeah. But it's taxing. It's fucking taxing, and you know,
I don't know how you do it.
and not everybody is easy. There's some of them that need to be babysitted more than others. And you know, right now he's motivated because when you have success, you know you're motivated. But you're gonna
Yeah,
feel
but
it.
I
You
do
probably
that since 20 years.
I know, but you probably already feel it, you know, and you probably already choose, you know. I mean,
Wisely.
Yes, yes.
I
you have
choose
to.
wisely.
You
That's
have
that.
to.
That's what you know. You can smell problems,
Yeah, yeah.
and I want to avoid problems. So
Why are there problems? It's crazy. It's like
Hey, everybody.
wasn't-
Hey, Stefan. Everybody. that
Chris,
you-
believe me,
send them to
these
Chris.
days,
Send them to Chris. The
Yeah.
ones you don't
oh,
want.
you do
Chris
not
bel-
sit on the Chris.
there are a lot of people, like I say it now, like Ronnie Coleman. You want to be a bodybuilder, but they don't want to lift that heavy ass fucking heavy weight. they want to be bodybuilder because of social media presence or what the hell. But the true bodybuilding hard people, they are slowly die. There are not that many anymore. And actually, I just like to work with them because they have the passion and understand the process. But most people out there are troublemakers because I would say they have the false idea of how that sport works.
Yeah.
This just remind me. Last Tuesday, we were waiting for Martin to show up. Was he with you at the old school podcast?
Yeah, he was with me. He was in Vienna. Yeah.
Yeah, he told me he was in Austria because that's why we said it's 7 o'clock for him. But he did send me a message afterwards. And
He was actually he was in therapy. He had massage.
He had a
It
massage.
was Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Right?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said
Yeah,
I had dinner with him.
he texted me.
Dinner with him.
He texted me and apologized, and then I asked him. He said, "If it's not a big deal, I understand." He said maybe he can come on today, but he didn't reply after that. So we'll get him on in the next couple of weeks.
I just left him at dinner right now.
Yeah. Oh,
I saw it. I saw it, Chris.
He's
I got
still still
pictures
there.
of you drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Prague until Friday.
What?
Okay, Stefan.
I had a little dinner nip. A little.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is next for Martin and what is next for Shaun?
Shaun is focusing completely on the Olympia. I want to bring the legs back up, like we discussed. I also want to get into his head and show him that recovery after so many years of bodybuilding is an important part to get back at his best. And Martin will definitely do shows. Martin will most probably do Dubai. Martin will most probably do Pittsburgh, but we will decide in the end. But he's the guy who really wants to work his ass off by not just sitting at home and doing improvement. He wants improvement and doing shows, and I think that's possible.
You know how people say, "Oh, he's going to burn out" and all this shit. I mean, that's a general consensus. Like, oh no, too much. Chris and I did both 72 shows each. We competed all the time. I don't think it's too much. And
no, me and I take care about that.
Yeah.
But do you get into the training very closely, or do you let them kind of like channel?
I think Brett and him, they are working quite good together. I just say when I want to see changes in the symmetry. So, for example, right now we have that mobility issue with the shoulders and with the upper back, where his front delts are locked and the chest is too tight. We need to get that open, that the lats can develop a little bit more, that it's getting away from being a trap focus because the shoulders are rounded like that. So I always interact when I see problems, when symmetry goes into the right direction. But still, I have full trust on them when they do the training.
What about Shaun? I personally feel he likes to go too heavy, especially for the leg.
That's especially what we discussed, that he has to learn to step one step back to improve, and because I think his legs just have been a little bit burnt out, but that might also be caused in the amount of cardio he did.
Yeah. But also the thing is, putting on all that weight all the time.
How old is Shaun?
Breaking it down.
82 born. So when you're born 82, you are 42.
Yeah. So he's already, yeah.
But still, when you stand close to him with no tanning and see him flexing his muscle, it's really, for me, it's incredible that with that age, still look so fresh.
Old man muscle.
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
How much heavier was he at Prague comparing to the Olympia?
5 pounds. Just 5 pounds.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. I seen Shaun picking up the dumbbell heavier than him and doing the incline. Seriously. Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
I told him, like Shaun, the only thing that can stop you right now is injury, especially if you're 40 plus.
What's that? But he only wants to bring back his legs.
Yeah, I want to bring back his legs. I want a little bit better chest. I think there is
That's
some room
good.
for chest improvements, and I'm really happy with everything else.
Gotta really
For sure, getting the midsection even better, which will happen when we keep that nutritional path we have done the last 5 weeks. You saw the changes concerning that, and I think if we get the midsection still better in the next year, that's even aesthetic-wise will bring.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That will bring some new aesthetic for him, and legs and chest and arms and shoulders will even look bigger when the midsection is with its full potential.
How
Go ahead. I got
how
one.
do you motivate Shaun? Because the only goal that he has is to win back the 212 Olympia, right? But looking at KEONE and looking at how hard it will be to beat KEONE when he's on.
Hard is never impossible.
I know, I understand that, but how do you motivate a guy who just lost to the same person 2 times? What's your main focus on how to keep him motivated?
I think Jay is the perfect example that when you come back to your personal best, everything is possible.
Hey, I was gonna ask you, do you encourage your guys, like even like I would say Shaun, I think I don't know if he does tonics. Do you ask them to do tonics and everything during the preparation?
Onyx?
Darmspülung.
No, never. Never. Because in my opinion, that disrupts the whole process.
Oh yeah?
Because bacteria will go out, the natural homeostasis will go out.
Yeah.
Darmspülung? It's a nice German word, isn't it? We all go for our daily Darmspülung. No, I never do that.
Yeah,
All right.
well, you see, if you didn't realize, I sneaked that question in. I asked Stefan, how would KEONE do in Prague? And he did put him second, which is above.
But we are not on the end of our end of our journey. We just had 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tell you this: Shaun, seeing him on 2 meters, basically in Reno that year, posing. I've never seen condition like that. I'm serious. There's something special about it. I mean, KEONE can never reach that kind of condition. And then
but if you have such superior symmetry.
Yeah, but imagine Shaun's structure with a perfect midsection. That structure, the waist when he stands in front of you, that's really, really good. Yeah. That's really good. And then those roundness.
I always say don't underestimate Shaun.
Really aesthetic.
But it's going to be, huh?
He's really aesthetic. He's got the right hip structure and all that stuff.
Yeah. If he brings that sweep back on his quads that he a little bit lost, then it makes his waist even smaller. That I can see him. Yeah.
And we still have, when we go to KEONE, we still have his rectus diastasis. Yeah. When that gets worse, when that when the tension in the stomach gets worse, I think it's possible. I really think it's possible, and I'm not.
I mean, you have to believe it's possible. Otherwise, this is a year of hard work for what? If you don't even believe it, of course. I just think this is going to be fucking hard. You need, but the good thing is, KEONE hasn't shown consistency when it comes to condition yet. Shaun, we already
it's
know.
on the way up. Yeah. It's on the way up. We need to see that with KEONE. It's getting better and better, but there's no consistency. You're right.
Yeah, and Shaun is consistently, he's going to be peeled. So
it's easy to get him there also.
He would need KEONE's help by not being. KEONE needs to be as good as he was this year. He cannot come in worse. That would kill him. If he comes in less than he was this year, it would hurt him. But watching KEONE this last year, who had, and we saw it, who struggled with mental illness before that, didn't really know how good he was. He now has the title. He knows now what he has to do. And a lot of people don't understand what they have to do until they go beyond what they usually do and win.
Yeah, sure.
And win, Because I remember when Rami, after, because I was pushing him every day. I said, he wanted to give up. He wanted to say, man, he called his wife, said, buy me a ticket. I want to come home. I want to die at home. This is how he was talking. I said, listen, you got a couple of more weeks. Just hang in there. He hung in there. And then he won the Olympia. And then in 1 second, he understood what it takes to win.
There, yeah.
And once you get that one time, you understand, then it's easier to take you to that same spot, But I think that, Keon he's at that point right now where he knows he got to be better. They will do whatever's necessary. And for Shaun, Shaun, I want to see him win. I want to see him do well, but I have a hard time believing that Keon can be beat.
He's really motivated as fuck.
Yes.
He's so driven, and I think that's also one of the advantages from him when compared to Keon, who showed that he can do that for one season, but let's see for how many seasons he can do that.
Right. Yeah, if you're mentally not super strong, once you get to that place again, you're going to have to go through it. And Shaun is definitely the one who's going to do it.
Yeah, he will go.
Yeah. Well, awesome, guys. Listen, that brings us to the end of the podcast for today. I appreciate all of y'all. Stefan, thank you for that quick.
You're welcome.
Jump in. I really appreciate it. We got to do another one with you because there's so much more we can talk about.
You can talk to Stefan for 2 hours.
I know. We got to schedule something for some other podcast because I have a few more questions that he can answer. And Chris, thank you for. Now you're probably going to go back to the bar now, right, or the restaurant?
I'm so sure.
No, that was over by the castle. Actually, I wanted to see the city because the castle's overlooking the city.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful city. And but I had to.
Are you still at Hotel Duo?
Yeah. Your boy doing it.
Yeah. I know that.
Okay.
You want me to show around a little bit? You want to see the green screen? You want to see the green screen?
You want to see my sauna? I'll take you in the back.
Oh, red wine party?
All right, guys. Listen, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Take care. You all be safe. God bless.
See you guys.
Bye.